class, we're going to do the review for more practice questions. Now, first, we have this question where, in fact, difference of the two perfect squares. So, in fact, if you were to rewrite this one, we'll be getting 4x whole squared minus 5y squared. Now, since this is a difference of two perfect squares, when we factor them, we would have gotten something like this. First one plus the second one times the first one minus the second one. So therefore, our answer would be choice 1. Right, next question. Now, when you look into this one, it says Jack for 3 slices of cheese pizza. So we're going to just write down about 3 C plus 4 mushroom. So we're just going to write down M. Now, that was in fact total for 12.50. Now, in case of Grace, she about 3C plus 2 slices of mushroom pizza ended up being 8.50. Now, we're looking for the mushroom pizza right here, which means we're looking for M. Notice C's are the same, not M's. And you can see right over here. Therefore, what we can do here at this point would have been something like this. What if we multiply the whole bottom one by negative? Then we will realize that these two will cancel out. We end up having 2M, which is equal to $4. Therefore, M should be equal to $2, which is choice 2. Right. Now, product, we just have to be careful in terms of multiplication. Notice that negative 3 is multiplying to 5. So we should have negative 15, and which will be the case for all of them. But now when you have x squared is multiplied to x, then we should have x cubed. That means this one is out. Now, when you look into the next one, since negative 3 here is also still multiplying to this one, we should have negative 3 on the second term, which will be these two cases. So this will be out. And x squared times x becomes x cubed, which we see from both of them. But when we have y times y, it becomes y squared. So we end up getting this one as our answer. Next. Now, half of this, that simply means we're looking at 2 to the 6th power divided by 2. Half means to divide by 2, but since there's no exponent, then we can assume that there's a 1 hidden. Then we end up getting 2 to the 6th minus 1. As you can see in the division, the exponents being subtracted, we will end up getting 2 to the 5th power, which will be this value. Now, the fact that 2 lines are parallel, that means slopes are equal. So when we see this equation, we see another one that has the same slope. That's negative 4, which will be this one. So therefore, first one will be our answer. Alright, now next. What is the slope of the line? So we just have to go for the slope formula. Then in this case, we will end up getting something like this. 1 minus negative 4. Notice that we consider this one as the second point, and this one is the first point. Then we will end up getting, by the same order, negative 6 minus 4. So on the numerator, we will end up getting 5. On the denominator, we would have gotten negative 10. So therefore, our slope becomes negative 1, which is choice number 3. Now, we have 155 to 190. Now then, the thing is, tallest students was 190 centimeters. Then we have to include that height. So as 155, that means choice 2 would have been our answer. Height has to be between 155 to 190. Next. Now, put X boxes of pencils, and each box holds 25 pencils. So far, one thing that which we can realize is 25x would have been total number of pencils. Now, he left 3 boxes of pencils at home. Now, meaning left 3. But each box contains 25, so that's basically what we would end up getting, which is 25x minus 75. Next choice D as our answer. Now, here, in order for you to convert this one into simplest form, one thing that we get to realize is this. What if we factor the numerator? Then you'll be realizing something that's quite interesting, because did you realize that 2x is common in left and right term? So we end up getting 2x, and we have x is left from the first term, and minus 6 is left from the second term. Now, on the denominator, we have x minus 6, and when those two things are cancelled out, we only have 2x left, which is choice number 2. Alright, let us move on. Now, in this case, we want to find the value of x. One thing which we can do is we can cross multiply them, then we end up getting x times x plus 13 is equal to 30. Now, when you multiply everything out, we will end up getting x squared plus 13x, and by subtracting 30, we will end up getting negative 30 equals to 0. Now, we realize that this can be factored as in x minus 3 and x minus 10. Oops. Not really, I'm sorry. It will be in fact factored with x plus 15 times x minus 2 equals to 0. That means x has to be either negative 15 or positive 2. Now we realize, therefore choice number 4 would have been our correct answer. Now, so Peter begins his kindergarten year. He would spell 10 words, and then going to learn 2 new words every day. Now write an inequality. It takes the D days to Peter to be able to spell at least 7. In this case, at least, that means we are looking for 75 greater than or equal to. Now, that's what it means by at least. But since Peter already can spell 10 words, but every day he can read 2 more words. So that's basically the expression that which we end up getting. And then they're asking us to solve it. Then what we can do is we can subtract 10. We get to realize 2D has to be greater than or equal to 65. Now by dividing by 2, we get to realize D has to be greater than or equal to 32.5. Now, but in this case, we are looking for whole days. This means D has to be equal to 33 days. Alright, let us move on. Contractor needs 54 square feet of brick to construct a rectangle. Now, but the length of the walkway is 15 feet more than the width. Now that means when you draw on rectangle, given that here we have, if this is length, now let's call this one as x, and this will be x plus 15, where the area is 54. And simply put, we get to realize x times x plus 15 is equal to 54. Now, multiplying once again everything out, we get x squared plus 15x minus 54 should be equal to 0. Now, which two factors, when they multiplied, give negative 54 and add up to 15? Let us say we don't know. And we can count one and each and every one. 2n, 27, 3, and 18. Oh, wait a minute. 3 and 18, because we realized that if we have negative 3 and then positive 18, we would have gotten our answer. So therefore, our factor will be x minus 3 and x plus 18 equals to 0. So here once again x becomes 3 or negative 18. Now in this case we are looking for x to be the positive number, so x will be positive. That's a positive number right here. Now, then width is 3, and the length would have been 18, I guess. So 3 by 18 rectangle becomes our final answer. Alright, this is a very good question also. We want to find out the value of a. That means we want to leave a by itself, and then everything else is on the other side. You'll notice that a is here and here. Since a is in the same location, we can factor a out, then we'll be getting 1 plus r equals b plus r. Now how can you leave a by itself? We get to divide by 1 plus r. And these two cancels out, and then we are left with b plus r over 1 plus r. So we'll end up getting choice number 3. Now here we need to solve for the inequality. Of course, first we will subtract 5 from both sides. Then we'll end up getting 4 over 3x has to be less than 12. Now, to get rid of these coefficients, we can multiply by its reciprocal, 3 over 4. Then you will realize that x has to be less than 4, cancels out with 12, becomes 3, and less than 9. That means x has to be less than 9, only possible answer would have been x has to be equal to 8. Alright, so we have at Genesis High School, sophomore class has 60 more students than freshmen. So we have sophomore and freshman. But they say 60 more, so plus 60, than freshmen, if freshman is x. Now the junior class has 50 fewer than twice the students of freshmen. So junior class is twice, but yet 50 fewer. Now, senior class is 3 times as large as the freshmen, so seniors is 3x. Now they're in total. In other words, we have to add up everything. Then we end up getting 7x. Total is 7x plus 10 becomes 1424. By subtracting 10, we get to realize 7x becomes 1414. Now this becomes x. Now then, by dividing by 7 on each side, we get 202. The question is, how many students are in the freshman class? 202 students. So therefore, number 1 will be the correct answer. So this is end of part 1. We'll continue in part 2.